Inside the UN bunker. Office. "The receipt for your gear," Sharon said as she stood with Steve, Laila and Sam. "Bird costume? Come on," Sam read. "I didn't write it." Sharon smirked as she pushes a button which stops the restriction on the audio from Bucky's evaluation. Laila folded her arms, eyes on the monitor. "Let's hear what this guy's really after." Now in secure chamber. Evaluation room. "Hello, Mr. Barnes. I have been sent by the United Nations to evaluate you. Do you mind if I sit? Your first name is James?" Zemo said. "My name is Bucky," Bucky said flatly. Meanwhile, at the power station, exterior. The van driver honks and looks impatient, watching the custodian's hut's front door. "Hello?" Delivery truck driver said in German. The custodian comes outside and the driver comes out of his van. "Hey, I have a big one for you," custodian replied. "Okay, here, just sign here," the driver said. "Here?" custodian asked. "Yeah," the driver replied. Back in the office, however. "Why would the task force release this photo to begin with?" Steve asked as he was studying the blurry Vienna bombing photo. "Get the word out, involve as many eyes as we can," Sharon said. "Right, it is a good way to flush a guy out of hiding. Set off a bomb, get your picture taken. Get 7 billion people looking for the Winter Soldier," Steve said. "You're saying someone framed him to find him," Sharon said. "Steve, we looked for the guy for 2 years and found nothing," Sam added. "We did not bomb the UN. That turns a lot of heads," Steve said. "Yeah, but that does not guarantee that whoever framed him would get him. It guarantees that we would," Sharon said as gaze falls on the evaluator in the screen, her eyes narrow. Laila frowned at the screen, eyes narrowing at the evaluator. "Or it guarantees they'd get him alone, behind locked doors." Steve's gaze cut to her. The suspicion in her tone matched the knot in his gut. In the secure chamber. "Tell me, Bucky." "You have seen a great deal, haven't you?" Zemo said. "I don't want to talk about it," Bucky muttered. "You fear that if you open your mouth, the horrors might never stop. Do not worry," Zemo said. Zemo gets a message on his screen. Message inbox. 1 touches its status. Package delivered. "We only have to talk about one," Zemo continued. At the power station, the custodian opens the crate. Finding Zemo's large device inside, he looks confused. The driver is at the back door of his van. "Hey, what is this?" custodian asked in German. "I don't know," the driver replied. The device erupts. A bubble of energy engulfs the power station and sparks fly. In the city, traffic lights fail. In the bunker, the lights go out and the emergency lights kicked on. "Great! Come on, guys, get me eyes on Barnes." "Go!" Everett Ross shouted. "Friday! Get me the source of that outage!" Tony said. "Sub-level 5, East Wing," Sharon said. Laila did not wait for permission. She grabbed her comm from her belt and was already moving for the door with Steve and Sam. Secure chamber. In darkness. "What the hell is this?" Bucky asked, but "Why don't we discuss your home? Not Romania, certainly not Brooklyn, no. I mean, your real home," Zemo replied before removing his glasses, then walks towards Bucky reading from the red book by torchlight. "Longing," Zemo started to say in Russian. "No," Bucky said as he shuts his eyes and made his head snap back. "Rusted," Zemo continued. Bucky's metal arm trembles in its restraint as he muttered, "Stop," as he sneers angrily. Layla's voice echoed from the hallway, faint through the heavy doors. "Steve?" "Daybreak," Zemo continued. Bucky screams, clenches his fist, and rips free of his restraints. "Furnace 9, Zemo continued. Bucky thumps the inside of the pod. "Benign," Zemo continued. Bucky punches harder. "Homecoming 1, freight car, Zemo continued. Bucky batters the front of the pod with his metal fist, and the glass screen clears. Zemo slowly rounds the pod with the book and the torch in hand. He stands before Bucky, who straightens, a dark frown on his face. Soldier, Zemo asked. He's ready to comply. Bucky replied in Russian. Mission report, December 16th, 1991, Zemo asked. Bunker. Outside the chamber a few moments later. Steve, Sam and Layla arrive outside the chamber. Red emergency lights flash all around. There are many agents slumped on the floor, all of them out cold. Help me! Help! Zemo's voice came weakly from inside. Steve moved in first, Layla right behind him. Inside, Zemo was in a heap near the overturned chair. Get up, he said as he grabs Zemo and shoves him against the wall. Who are you? What do you want? Steve asked. To see an empire fall, Zemo replied. The fight starts to erupt as Sam was just stepping through the doorway when Bucky burst from the shadows, his fist smashing through the wall. Sam ducked by inches, but Bucky's hand clamped around his jaw and hurled him into the open pod. Layla darted in, swinging a baton at Bucky's ribs. He barely flinched, shoving her into the control console hard enough to knock the wind out of her. Steve lunged, landing a solid punch. Bucky barely reacted. His kick sent Steve stumbling back. Then, a rapid series of strikes drove him into the wall. Bucky threw a punch through the elevator door, metal buckling under the force. Steve blocked the next hit, but the sheer strength behind it sent him tumbling backward into the dark elevator shaft. Layla shouted, "Steve!" She dove for the edge, but Bucky's metal hand caught her by the collar and flung her sideways. She crashed into the wall, groaning as she scrambled up again. Back inside the chamber, however, Sam groaned, regaining his bearings, and caught sight of Zemo peering down the elevator shaft where Steve had fallen. "Hey!" Sam called sharply. Zemo bolts. Sam rises as Layla was already on her feet, eyes locked on Zemo. "Go help Steve," she snapped to Sam, then sprinted after the fleeing man. Bottom of the shaft. Steve pushed himself up off the floor, wincing. T'Challa scans the empty reception, and footsteps echo from the far hallway. Layla emerges from the shadows, dressed for combat, her eyes locked on the path Bucky just took. "Lost him," Layla said as she is out of breath. "Not for long," T'Challa replied, his voice calm but clipped. "Good," Layla said with a half smirk. "I didn't come all this way to watch you do all the work." T'Challa gave a quick nod, and they split. T'Challa heading back toward the stairs, Layla darting toward a side hallway that might cut Bucky off. "Damn it," Sam said as he looks around the wide courtyard and scowls. Steve surfaces with Bucky in his arms, gasping for air. He starts pulling toward the riverbank when a voice cuts through the chaos. "Steve!" Layla said, her voice sharp with panic. She is already wading into the water, eyes locked on the limp form of Bucky. Steve's shoulders sag with relief as she helps haul him toward the shore. After a while, they all head to the abandoned building. In a huge, abandoned warehouse, Bucky comes to with his metallic left arm clamped in a huge industrial vise. Steve peers through a gap at a chopper flying overhead. Sam's over by Bucky. "Hey, Cap!" Sam said, and Steve goes over to join Sam by Bucky, who sits with his arm in the vise. They stare at him. "Steve," Bucky said. "Which Bucky am I talking to?" Steve Rogers asked. "Your mom's name was Sarah. You used to wear newspapers in your shoes," Bucky said. "Can't read that in a museum," Steve said. "Just like that? We're supposed to be cool?" Sam asked. "What did I do?" Bucky asked. "Enough," Steve said. "Oh, God, I knew this would happen. Everything Hydra put inside me is still there. All he had to do was say the goddamn words," Bucky said. "Who was he?" Steve asked. "I don't know," Bucky said. "People are dead. The bombing, the setup. The doctor did all that just to get 10 minutes with you. I need you to do better than I don't," No, Steve said. Laila steps forward, placing a hand on Steve's arm. Her eyes flick briefly to Sam and Bucky before tugging Steve a few steps away, out of immediate earshot. Steve! If he says he does not know, maybe that is because they made sure he would not remember. That is what Hydra does, Laila said softly. Steve's jaw tightens, but he holds her gaze a beat longer than necessary, his hand brushing hers before he turns back to Bucky. He wanted to know about Siberia, where I was kept. He wanted to know exactly where. Bucky said quietly. Why would he need to know that? Steve asked. Because I'm not the only Winter Soldier, Bucky said. Who were they? Steve said. Their most elite death squad. More kills than anyone in Hydra history. And that was before the serum, Bucky said. They all turn out like you? Sam asked. Worse, Bucky said. Laila, standing just behind Steve, steps closer and lightly touches his arm. Her voice is low enough for only him to hear. Then, you know this isn't something we can face unprepared, Laila said quietly. Steve glances at her, the corner of his mouth tightening. A silent acknowledgement, before he looks back to Bucky. The doctor? Could he control them? Steve asked. Enough, Bucky said. Said he wanted to see an empire fall, Steve said. With these guys, he could do it. They speak 30 languages, can hide in plain sight, infiltrate, assassinate, destabilize. They can take a whole country down in one night. You would never see them coming, Bucky said. This would have been a lot easier a week ago, Sam said as he steps up to Steve. If we call Tony, Steve said. No, he won't believe us, Sam said. Even if he did, Steve said. Who knows if the Accords would let him help, Sam said. We're on our own, Steve said. Maybe not. I know a guy, Sam said. After a while, some of Cap's team arrive at the overpass. Not sure you understand the concept of a getaway car, Sharon said. It's low profile, Steve said. Good, because this stuff tends to draw a crowd, Sharon said as she opens the trunk of her car, revealing Steve's and Sam's gear. Can you move your seat up? Bucky said as sits behind Sam in the getaway car. No, Sam said. I owe you again, Steve said. Keeping a list? You know, he kind of tried to kill me, Sharon said as she glares at Bucky. Sorry, I'll put it on the list too. They're going to come looking for you, Steve said. I know, Sharon said. Steve steps forward, placing a hand briefly on her shoulder. Instead of a kiss, he gives her a small, sincere smile before glancing toward Laila, who's leaning casually against the car, watching the exchange with a knowing look. Thank you, Sharon, Steve said. That was... She glances toward Laila with a faint smirk before finishing off. Late. Damn right, I should go, Steve said. Okay, Sharon said. Steve heads back toward the car, catching Laila's hand in his as he passes. She squeezes it once before they get in. Arriving at Leipzig-Halle Airport parking garage, 6th level. Steve drives into the parking lot in the battered old car. He parks by a grey van and gets out. Cap, Clint said. You know I wouldn't have called if I had any other choice, Steve said. Hey man, you're doing me a favour. Besides, I owe a debt, Clint said. Thanks for having my back, Steve said. And for not asking too many questions, Laila added with a faint smirk. It was time to get off my ass, Wanda said. How about our other recruits? Steve asked. He's raring to go. Had to put a little coffee in him, but he should be good, Clint said. Scott comes out of the van. What time zone is this? Scott asked. Come on, Clint said. Scott shakes Steve's hand with an amazed look. Captain America, Scott said. Mr. Lang, Steve said. It's an honour. I'm shaking your hand too long. Wow, this is awesome. Captain America, Scott said. before looking over to Wanda and continuing. I know you too. You're great. He turns back and feels Steve's shoulders. Geez, look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so thanks for thanking of me. Scott said, then looks over to Sam and continues. Hey man. What's up, Tic Tac, Sam said. Good to see you. Look, what happened last time when I... Scott said, it was a great audition, but it'll never happen again, Sam said. You'll fit right in, Lang. We specialise in impossible odds. Layla quipped from the side, now briefing the team. They tell you what we're up against? Steve asked. Something about some psycho assassins, Scott said. We're outside the law on this one. So if you come with us, you're a wanted man, Steve said. Yeah, well, what else is new? Scott asked. We should get moving, Bucky warned. We got a chopper lined up, Clint said. This is an emergency. All passengers must evacuate the airport immediately, the man said on PA number 2 in German. They're evacuating the airport, Bucky said. Stark, Sam said. Stark? Scott asked. Layla exchanges a knowing glance with Steve. Then it's game time, Layla said quietly. Suit up, everyone, Steve said.